All right. Excuse me. Hello. I want to talk about how different groups of people are trolled. Okay. And so I've talked about how a lot of black women were trolled with a lot of these anti black women tweets that come from some of these rappers, celebrities, or just, um, black identified men all together. And so I want to talk about how different groups are trolled, but really I'm going to talk about another specific group, which is, white people. And not just white people, but the world as an whole. I notice, like I said, with black women, how they can be trolled. Colorism is a big one. It's a trigger, even though it's very real, and people have their rights to talk about how colorism affects a lot of black women. It's a trigger, and unfortunately, a lot of people who control the media, who pull the strings, know that's a trigger for black women, and so they continually use it. They continually probably will put people in movies just to trigger women, knowing that that's a problem, knowing that that is something that they have struggled with their whole life, and that has been a problem for so long. They know to keep how to trigger black women and do certain things that's going to cause them to react. Okay. And another one is to use their own men. If you want to call them your men, I don't call them my men, my men based on their complexion. I don't say they're my men. But I know that's just how people talk. So a big way, one of the biggest ways they have trolled and used to have controlled black women, one of the main reasons why a lot of black women are replaced is because people who are in power have used their own men against them. Okay. Um, and I'm gonna go back. I wanna stay on being trolled, and then I'm gonna go back to tell a story that I heard another lady on YouTube tell. Okay. But I'm gonna talk about how they're being controlled. So for, of course, over a decade, these guys have gone online to just say anything negative, anything possible that they can say negative about black women, right? And then to this day, there's always these anti-black women tweets resurfacing. That was psychological warfare, and black women are being trolled. They know that black women, for the most part, a lot of them will always care about what their counterparts think, and so these guys who spew a lot of negativity, they will always be used as a weapon against a weapon. Okay, to keep black women in line, because black women, for the most part, will continue to care what these guys think. Okay. Now I want to talk about the other group of people who are being trolled. And I said white people, but it's not just white people in this case. It's really just society, period. It's not just white people. I noticed that all of these mass shootings is a way to trigger non-black people, people as a whole, but a lot of non-black people. I'm just seeing how different things are being used, okay, to troll. Excuse me, to troll different groups of people. And these mass shootings that always happen, it was in the bombs, the mass shootings in these schools, the mass shootings in these movie theaters, the mass shooting at this nightclub. What was it called? Pulse or something? I think it was in Florida. The mass shooting that was supposed to happen in Vegas that a lot of people found out was a psyop. Okay, just like a lot of stuff that happened to black people, and it triggers black people, and black people want to talk about racism. A lot of that stuff, those things are psyops. Okay, and so I noticed that trolling is done in different kind of ways based on how people respond. And so the people who want to control this media and who want to control the narrative, they study you, and they like to study you via social media, as most of you guys know. And so they study Black women, and they know that Black women care more than anything else. Most of them care more about what their counterparts think. And so they use their own men as a weapon to keep them in line because they will always care what these guys think. And then you see on the other side where all of these mass shootings are used. I think what was something happened in Paris too. You see a lot of those things are used to control a lot of non-Black people. Okay, you see how that's used. Then they talk about the immigration. It is so much that's being used to because the social experiment is used for everybody, for all groups of people. Okay, because the ones who are truly in control really what they do is very intentional. So if you notice them really seem like they are they really want to troll people of color, it's intentional. It's not it's just because they're racist and they hate your brown skin. It's very intentional, and it's some kind of power that they know that brown people have that they want to keep dormant. Okay, it's very intentional. It has nothing to do with just hating the color of your skin. They're more intentional than that, especially when they're billionaires. When you're a billionaire and you pretty much run the world and control media, you have better things to do than worry about the color of somebody's skin or hate somebody for their skin. So what they're doing towards brown people is far more intentional than just some racist mumbo jumbo. Okay? I imagine yourself being a billionaire and running several different companies. Do you have time to really care about somebody's skin color? That is so that doesn't enter the mind of somebody who is powerful. If they want to control a certain group of people and they work extra hard to control them, it's because they are aware of the power that is dormant in them, and they want to make sure it stays dormant so they can stay on top. That's what that's all about. Okay? They're very intentional in what they do. They're not just mad at your brown skin. That is so shallow. But anyway, yeah, so I just want to talk about that. But yeah, I was just looking at the mass shooting in New Zealand, and it's not to say that it didn't happen. That's what I want to make clear, that it's not to say that a lot of these mass shootings didn't happen. But I'm seeing different ways that people are being trolled. And I think a lot of non-Black people are trolled on the media showing a lot of these bombings, like the one that was at that Boston Marathon. It was a huge bombing, and a lot of people got online talking about crisis actors. Okay, it was a lot of crisis actors doing the whole Kanika Jenkins thing too. And yeah, it's just something that I noticed, and with this New Zealand thing, just kind of reminds me of the other stories. And it's not to say that it did not happen. A lot of people who died are casualties. So it's not to say it didn't happen. But I definitely feel like people are being trolled. But with that being said, I will talk to you soon.